Welcome, welcome, Diamond Bar Brahmas. It is 2021 and yet another opportunity to have a Wellness Wednesday. My name is Marla Rickard, and I am honored to be here today. Not only am I a teacher in the district, but I'm also a Diamond Bar alum. Yes, started my education evergreen to chaparral and graduated from Diamond Bar High School. I will not tell you when. I think I'm really young, but apparently I'm not because my kids have also been through the district. Currently, I have one. My youngest is at chaparral too, so kind of following in the footsteps of his mama. But I just wanted to say it is an honor to be with such awesome, dynamic, spectacular individuals. And I am grateful that as you jump into another Wellness Wednesday, together we can kind of reflect on what happened in 2020, Shishikawa. Anyone else say, holy guacamole, what just hit us? But then the opportunity to look towards hopefulness of 2021. So let's just jump right in and get started. And I just wanted to share a few things with you about just reflecting back and looking forward to what it is that we have in the future here. Hopefulness. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all the darkness. Anybody else feel a little bit of that shock of the weight maybe of the world and that there's darkness, but then hearing of people say there's this hope, there's this light that shines through, super amazing. 2020, you think back, looking through a rear view mirror. Now I'm a science teacher, so everything that I like to do comes through observations. Like, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you wonder? All of these like spectacular, what do you want to learn? But I have to pause and say, what did I see? What did I actually hear? And did I understand or did I try? Because I realized that there was almost this pattern that was created in the brain, and patterns are awesome until you become stagnant. Like I had scheduled activities and life seemed normal and goals, dreams, visions, so hopeful. And then what hit us? Oh my gosh, pandemic, breakdowns, face masks, distant learning, like it became chaotic. There was this paranoia that was starting to develop, and people began to be lonely and just challenged, mentally exhausted. Anybody out there feel any of these things? That came from the pandemic. And then all of a sudden we have protests and the election, and it made us just say, how do we move on? Like our amygdala in our brain, that awesome little piece that's so powerful, was kicked into high gear, and people started to become so anxious and wondering what's going to happen and who will we become? And then, we had to put into practice these pieces that we have learned, these tools from our toolbox, from our awesome Wellness Wednesdays. We had to start to just breathe. Breathe in, breathe out, and clear our brain. Like when we focus on all the craziness, we really have a full mind. It's a packed mind. And what happens to a packed mind? It explodes on us. We had to realize that being mindful was so much greater than having a mind that was full. How do we do this? How do we change it? Literally looking at mindfulness as being aware of what's happening in the moment. And as I started to think about this, how do we build awareness? We breathe, we reset, And then we also have to analyze what's happening. Looking at our perspective. I love some of these cartoons to make me think about how would I interpret this comic, or who would I be in this comic? So right here, if I'm looking, am I the one that's standing over saying, it is not that bad? Or am I going, it's so deep, I can't handle it? What about what I want to hear from others? Do I want to hear the truth? Or is it much more comfortable to hear some comforting lies? How about looking at what I actually see in life? What do you actually see? When you look out that window, when you wake up each morning, what would be created on your blank canvas? Because we have that opportunity every day to maybe relook at life in a more optimistic way. But I don't know, some people it naturally comes to them, and other people you have to work at it, but it's always possible. That's what I love. There's always hope. Is it something that I desire? Is it something that I want to actually turn to? And then, do I want to become that hopeful type of a person? In order to do that, I have to first take my eyes off of others, like social media and comparison, and really focus on the individual who is willing to make the change. In my case, it would be me. In your case, it would be you, embracing who you are and celebrate your individuality. Who are you? Like, who are you really? I love at my school when we take the opportunity to just look at this picture with the glasses and the magazine and saying, okay, which lenses am I looking through? Is it a clear lens? We talked about like that 2020 vision. Whoa, what was that 2020 vision we just experienced? And how can I have courage to share with people, not everything about me, but share enough to help them and understand how to better help me? Because sometimes we don't always understand a person completely. Like, unless you're walking in their shoes. And so then we think about, okay, if they only knew, if you're putting that in a speech bubble, if they only knew, if the adults at the school only knew, if my family only knew, if the police officer only knew, I don't know, if those people that I came in contact with each and every day only knew this about me, maybe it would help them to understand situations and circumstances and why it is that I'm doing what I'm doing, and help me to put the pieces together so that I can move forward in life. And then saying, okay, now that I'm allowing people to understand me more, now that I've embraced who I am and I'm so proud of the individual that I am, what do I choose to now see and hear and understand in life? Because as you begin to then turn yourself over, you will start to see things so much more differently. The biggest communication problem is we don't listen to understand. We listen to reply. Stephen Covey is brilliant, and I love his words of wisdom here. It's one of those things that I like to stop and think about. How am I truly hearing the people around me? Am I listening? There's a difference. Just like there's a difference between looking and seeing. But ultimately, I want everybody to be able to experience some hope in the middle of any situation, right? Because there's always lessons to be learned. I had a dear friend who defined hope in this way. It was heart, optimism, perseverance, and excellence. And we've just held on to that. To hope is to desire, to wish for, to assume that anything can happen, to expect it and trust it, anticipate it, set those goals. But you have to be so careful with it, because it is something that you are just handing open with wide open hands and saying, okay, I believe. And yet your heart just is, oh, you don't want to be discouraged or let down. But hope is such a beautiful thing. I love the Greater Good Science Center because they really have some things to help you each and every day. We talk about these tools that you've been given every Wednesday with Wellness Wednesday, whether it's the yoga or the breathing and just how to refocus things, how to really set those goals. But daily putting this into your routine, but remember, not making it a routine to where your brain gets stagnant, but where you are really aware of the journey you're on. Thinking each and every day, what am I grateful for today? Who am I checking in on or connecting with? Because relationships are key to making sure that you are able to see, hear, and understand others. And in doing that, we really do understand ourselves more. But if we keep ourselves closed in, we lose sight of the wealth of knowledge that we can gain from others and the way that we can encourage and support each other. Just checking in builds something inside, and it's making others feel like they too are important and a definite asset to life. What expectations of normal am I letting go of today? And what beauty am I either creating, cultivating, or inviting in today? It takes work. Hope and seeing things through a different lens, it takes work. But you can embrace hope and grab onto the opportunity to actually reset every day. Be aware of who you are. Be intentional. Always assume positive intent. Understand your whys in life. Why do you do what you do? Why do you participate in these things? And that's the gift of 2020. We had the opportunity to be forced into a moment where we stopped and we said, okay, why am I doing so much? Or why am I procrastinating when why do we do what we do? You got to fill in your own blanks. And then appreciate your story. If you have the opportunity to look up spoken words, I challenge you to write your own because they are powerful, and especially when it reflects on your story. When you think about why you're here because you're special. You're here because you matter. You're here because you're valued. You're here because you can move mountains. You are here because you are you. You are a person who cares. You're a person who has drive. You're a person who has determination. You're a person who has heart. You've learned how to fight. You've learned how to love. You've learned how to see things through a different lens. You've learned how to pause and to think and to appreciate. And with all of that, you will lead by sharing a bit of yourself every day. You will lead by being an example. You will lead by being honest, by being trustworthy, by being a person of character. And it doesn't matter, because if you've ever been hurt, you will rise above it. If you've ever been let down, you will forgive. If you've ever struggled with following through on something, you will be committed to your word. Why? Because you are you. You are a dynamic, spectacular, wonderful individual. And you have the opportunity right now to reset and to set some intentional goals of who you want to be in the future. Pay attention to your journey. Pursue identity. Learn more about yourself. Hopefulness in 2021. We can start saying we appreciate this moment in time. We appreciate this moment in time. And every second that something happens, we are going to embrace it and cherish it and really learn as to how we can use it to help those around us. Hope is being able to see that there's light despite the darkness. Be aware of your year. What is an intentional word you can set for this year? Be aware of every day, every moment, and appreciate lessons learned. And as you think, I am, fill in the blank. I choose, fill in the blank. I will, fill in the blank. Put it up on your mirror. Write it on a piece of paper and stick it up everywhere. But be intentional as to how, even in 2021, you can develop hopefulness this year. Now, we need to breathe. Breathe in. Think lengthen. Breathe out and let go. As we breathe in, we lengthen. As we breathe out, we let go. And as we breathe in, think of that word, that intention that you have set for 2021. And as you breathe out, let go of the rest. Things in the past don't have to define you, but they can be used to deliver a powerful message as to how through any and every situation, good and bad, there are lessons to be learned and there's growth to be happening. And we have the gift of coming together and taking the opportunity to embrace this life, your life, and to cherish every moment. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much for allowing me to share a piece of my heart. Be hopeful and know you are special. You matter. You are valued. You are appreciated. You are needed. And you are a dynamic, spectacular, incredible, fabulous individual. Thank you.